Do you want to hear a story? A story about a girl. This girl was in prestigious high school. She was happy, good social life, good environment. She was part of the sports section in her high school, which was mostly boys with just 4 girls. Seeing that for the first time, she was a little afraid and uncomfortable. But as time passed, she made friends and found her place. As usual, she was in the sports option doing her session when she heard some noises. In those noises, some terrible things.
All she deserves is to get fucked. She's so heavy. Those girls are just sluts.
Hearing this, she turned her head. Those words came from a group of boys in the sports section. She heard them making inappropriate remarks several times, but the most shocking part that was they did it in front of girls, and the girls laughed or seemed to agree with them. Several questions were born in her mind. Seeing the girls' behavior, why do they act like that? Why do they seek their validation? Why do they need men's validation? All those questions link to the topic of this video. Do women need male validation to be happy? The first time I was confronted with male validation was at my entry into middle school. I had an idea of middle school shaped by teenage movies and series. I thought that when I entered middle school, I would be the popular girl with a lot of friends, the love interest of multiple boys. The reality was different. I was not the love interest, either because I didn't fit beauty standards or because it wasn't the right time. I compared myself to my friends. All my friends were in relationships and I wasn't. And I thought it was because I was less beautiful. I didn't have a big booty or big chest. So I assumed that was why boys didn't find me attractive. In reality, the cause was something else. During that time, I learned the lesson not to avoid anyone. For example, my ex-best friend hung out with a lot of boys because she didn't get any attention at home. Another friend's boyfriend was an entire red flag. Thankfully for my friend, it didn't hurt her, but it did hurt another girl. Unlucky for her. So I started to attract attention from some boys at the end of my second year in middle school. Another important thing, during all middle school, I was in classes with predominantly girls, only 4 or 5 boys. Maybe that's why I didn't attract boys' attention when I first entered. At the end of my second year, I attracted the attention of a boy and I also developed a crush on him. But honestly, he wasn't really my type and I had a crush on him just because I wanted validation. Furthermore, I never talked to him, so in summary, my first crush was just a waste of time. After this first crush, everything followed. I attracted attention from more boys. An important point during this time, I started getting into self-improvement and Pan-Africanism. I embraced myself more and being proud of my skin color, my African feature, my African history. It was also the time I decided to preserve myself and not be in relationship because I was too young and had other projects. So during my middle school, high school and college years, I attracted boys' attention. Not only boys' attention, but that's for another video. Because I attracted boys' attention, I started to see myself as pretty. I think I was lucky because I was never sexualized. I always received compliments about my face, not my body. The compliments about my body came mostly from women because I'm skinny. We live in fat-phobic society that pushes women to be as skinny as possible. Validation from others, especially from men, helped me build my self-confidence. My insecurities left very quickly. I experienced insecurities, but only for a short period, just during the first 2 years of middle school. Thankfully, because of my African origins and value, I didn't center all my confidence around men's validation. I developed life goals more important than male validation. I am into self-improvement, so of course I realized that inner beauty is more important than outer beauty. Being clever is more valuable than being beautiful. Beauty fades with age, personality doesn't. For my part, I had specific standards for men, and I knew that my type of man isn't really rare but isn't everywhere either. I attracted boys, but the most surprising part was the type of boy I attracted. The first time I attracted, I was okay with it, fine, but the more I attracted this type, the more I questioned myself. This type was the bad boy or The toxic boys, the girls who fit every case of bad boy archetype. For my part, they were beautiful, really beautiful. I think that because they attracted a lot of girls and had female validation. They were sexist. I remember not in front of me, but when I was in the same class as them, I heard them talking badly about women and sometimes mocking the physical appearance of certain girls. They were fatphobia, racism. So I knew they had a crush on me, those toxic boys. I was always nice to them. Audit, but I kept my distance. I always befriended boys without sexist behavior and with respectful attitudes. If you want to detect a toxic guy, look at 4 things. Their discussion topics, how they act around you and others, who their friends are, and how their friends describe them. For my part, my male friends and my flirts were polite. The major discussion topics were intellectual, geopolitics, economic, sociology, with some debates. Us French people love debates. I also remember with my first real crush, I liked him because of how he acts, nice to everybody. He helped new people in high school integrate into school life. He was nice, but also a little shy, and I found shyness cute in boys. He was also intelligent. No discussions were always debates. I developed a crush for all those reasons, but also because of how his friend portrayed him. His friend invited us because I was there with my friend, that my crush was really nice, didn't drink, didn't smoke, and wasn't into hookup culture. My crush was pretty popular, girls were attracted to him, but he was never in a Russian nor hooking up. I knew it was true because I talked with him and hung out with him sometimes, and the more you stay with a person, the more you learn how they act, their qualities and their flaws. Another example is with my male friends. My male friends never sexualized me or said anything with sexual meaning to me, but treated me just as human. I've talked with girls who told me that when they went on dates, they never let the guy pay for one reason. If they let him pay, he would ask for sex and use the excuse of having paid for the restaurant. A lot of girls fall into this trap and sleep with them. I will just say one thing, something really important. It's not because a guy paid for the date that you must sleep with him. And if after you say no, he continues to force you with manipulation, just leave. To protect yourself, because you don't know what can happen, rumbles him if you need to. I've never been on a date, but if one day I go, I will always bring money. Never go out without money, date or no, because you don't know what can happen. Also, if you go on a date, let one of your friends or relatives know. It's just a safety precaution. For my part, my male friends and flirts in high school paid for things when I didn't have money, and I paid for things when they didn't have money. Never did my male friends ask me to rumble them or to sleep with them because they pay for something. My male friends are not predators, unlike certain men. It's scary. On the contrary, toxic boys were really different. The toxic boys I met were nice to me because they found me attractive, but for other girls they didn't find attractive. We treated them like trash. They were into hookup culture, smoked, drank, and were sexist and sometimes racist. They weren't interesting either, always talking about superficial topics. So it's for those reasons I kept my distance and was always nice and polite, but nothing more. So, do women need men's validation to be happy? My answer is yes and no. Yes, because you are a teenager, or when you are a teenager or a young woman, men's validation can help you build your confidence. It also helps you access certain privileges that girls considered less attractive can't get. But here is the trap. If you put all your confidence in men's validation, you will become a slave to their validations. You will put yourself beneath them and in competition with other girls. So yes, men's validation can help you build your confidence when you are young, especially during your teenage years. But as I said in many videos, beauty fades. It's temporary. The older you get, the less conventionally beautiful you will be considered. So you must build your confidence on things other than men's validation. Your ambition, your skill, your hobbies. You will notice that I'm talking about inner beauty. But more are you confident in your inner beauty because that is eternal, unlike physical beauty. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will come back with other videos like this about social topics affecting women, especially black women, and I will share my experiences. So like, subscribe, and share. Don't hesitate to leave a comment, and see you in the next video. Kwaheri.